Welcome back, everybody. As we are laying down this foundation of our introduction to behavioral finance, I think it's worth putting in a little module here, a video that addresses what causes our behavior, or namely our financial behavior. So I want us to think about why we behave the way that we do. And we want to give it some thought because ultimately, if we're not making good behaviors or our clients aren't making good behaviors, we're ultimately going to want to try to help make better decisions, make better behaviors. So we're going to dig into that here in this episode or this video. So first of all, think about some of the causes. When I think about my own, we go, I personality. This causes a lot of it. This is born of my parents. And you think about personality, taking some characteristics from who brought you up. You've got your mom and your dad. And as you get older, you realize, hey, there's some great attributes that I want to keep. And then there are some other ones that I need to work through. And regardless, though, these carry forward and are more or less our defaults in how we operate as adults. We have our personality, it comes from our parents. Next, we have upbringing, how we were brought up. And we all bring in different upbringings. I was coming up in a middle class family in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the United States. And then I lived in Germany after college. And so all of these different things, but my upbringing is very middle class. And guess what? When you move into your adulthood, those are your defaults. Whatever is normal become your defaults unless you override them. So when we're talking about financial behaviors, your upbringing, how your parents talked about money, or in my case, never talked about money, will follow you into adulthood. But if you're here listening to this or watching this video, you are making the right decision because you're actually thinking about financial behaviors, and we're going to override any upbringing issues. That's what makes talking about personal finance and behavioral finance a passion of mine, is to be a resource where when I grew up, I didn't have anybody to talk to about personal finances. So I had to make all the mistakes on my own and learn the right way to do it. So upbringing is a big one. We're going to piggyback off of this with experiences. So experiences are a big one here in driving our behavior. And you think about, I mentioned that we moved to Germany. That changed my whole outlook and worldview on everything. You meet new cultures, new languages, people, and what a game changer for me to really open my mind up. But when we talk about financial experiences here, this is also very important to note because people bring their past experiences into their financial decision making. So if somebody had instant success trading stocks or Bitcoins or NFTs, then they believe that anything they touch will turn to gold and that they are just the best investor of all time. And they're going to take on way more risky financial behavior. Somebody like me, who bought their first house right before the financial crisis and watched their home diminish in value by 50%, takes that experience with them. And now, even though I know real estate is a good investment over the long term, I have to let go of those and work through those experiences to recalibrate my behavior based off of that. And that's where we're saying here, people bring in their own experiences. That's why financial decision making behavior is not a one size fits all. We have to take all of these things into consideration before trying to improve somebody's behavior. Last thing here is resources. You can add that to it. So some people they have more resources. Some people do not, and that will change some of their financial behavior as well. And if they came from it, their family has it, it all ties together. And so when we say, why do smart people, doctors, why do doctors who are making six, seven, $800,000 a year struggle to save money? They're living paycheck to paycheck. At the same time, why can a janitor save for a number of years and become a multimillionaire in net assets? And it's fascinating to see this because that gives everybody a chance. Everybody can be successful financially. But what it comes down to is it's all about your behavior. And so that's where we say, okay, if I'm going to be successful financially, I need to have the right behavior. And so when we talk about, how do I change my behavior? We go, okay, the way I used to teach changing behavior is I was very prescriptive. So this takes me back. We already did math. That's my area. I love math. And so what I like to do in my brain is I say, you're saving 0%. I want you to save 10%. You'll be good. Change your behavior. And so I jumped right in at the area of behavior and always am disappointed when nobody actually changes their behavior. And so when we're changing behavior, I want to plant the seed here and say behavior is not a one-step process. It's a multi-step process. But in its simplest form, I'll break it down to 3 steps. So you've got first a thought or belief around this, thought or belief. You'll make a decision based off of that. And then the behavior is acting out your decision. If you don't believe me, think about this. Somebody is robbing a bank and they're standing there in the bank. It's happening. They're in the behavior right now, but they don't just stand there and go, how did I get here? What am I doing? One step process. I should change this. No, they had a thought. Should I do this? Then they say yes or no. Yeah, there's your decision. And then they act it out. What should I make for dinner? Thoughts. I should make something healthy. I got to go to my beliefs. What I believe I should do something healthy or not healthy. We make our decision. And then when we're acting, the behavior is just acting it out. So what I want you to think about as we're going through behavioral finance and we're working on ourselves, we're trying to understand others. I want us to start thinking, override that prescriptive nature that I'm working on as well, and really start thinking about how do we change some of our thoughts and beliefs around finances in order to make them more positive and better thoughts and beliefs. Because if we can change our thoughts and beliefs around this, the decisions become better and then the behaviors take care of themselves. All right. So with that, I'm going to stop. And when we come back, we are going to talk about prospect theory, one of my favorite topics in the world. We're going to do a deep dive in there. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next video.